have the higher level license, you don't have a license anywhere. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean that's the North Carolina process. That's all that is. The exam is the same. What they call the licensed clinical exam, that's the advanced clinical exam for an LISW, CP. Melissa has that, I have that. That's the same all over the country. When you're ready to take that exam, it's a national testing organization. One of the things that does happen here for many of you, if you're able, in your last semester of coursework here, the January through May when you graduate, you're able to take your license exam if you want to. There's some paperwork and a process for applying, and you have to be in good academic standing, and there's some steps that we explain to you. But you're able to take your exam before you graduate. Let's say you know you're going to Virginia, because that's where you're from. You can still take the exam here, as long as you meet the Virginia License Board standard. So if they say, yes, you can take it before you graduate, take it wherever you are and have the test scores sent to us, well, that's what you can do. Some states don't want you to take the exam until you've actually graduated and they have your transcript in hand. So you need to look up individual states to find out what it is. If I take the bar, there you go.
I was going to say too that it also depends on the threshold of what you pass with as to what would be accepted state to state. South Carolina, I think you only have to score 70, other states it's 75, and I think one state it's 80, 94 in Maryland. So, you know, that varies too. So to say you did take the exam even though it's the same, you may be rejected for a transfer if you didn't score at that minimum. I think that maxes out over time. That, you know, as long as you've had your license in plastic. Yeah. So reciprocity depends. So it's kind of like taking the bar if you're an attorney, where you need to take the license in the state you plan to practice. If you plan to practice or want to practice more than one, then you need to educate yourself on the requirements state by state by state. Any more questions for Jessica? If not, let's give her a big round of applause. All right. Look, we also, in a sense of time, Brett Fowles is someone who's actually currently in the program, and he was going to plan to come and talk to y'all today, and he couldn't because he had an obligation to his field practicum. He actually is a first-year student, and he has been sending me emails. A lot of students do that I was the liaison for, letting me know how this year's already started and gotten off, and he's just really excited about his second year and where things are going. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his suggestions, and I'm going to put them in a document and put them on Blackboard. But these were points that he had put together that he had wanted to talk to you about. And if you'll notice, a lot of it mirrors what Jessica was talking about in terms of things to do, except he wrote out more specific advice based on what his experience was. I think the one that I really want to point out to you, I'm not going to go down them all so much as highlight the ones that I think I see that folks struggle with, especially since you might be new to social work as a profession. The one I want to point out is your supervisor is not always going to be there. Create your own opportunities, connections, and places you can ask questions when they are not around. One of the misconceptions about field practicum is somebody's going to be over you 24/7. And that is not the way it happens. Everybody in here has held a job, right? Is your supervisor around you 24/7? No. It's going to be the same concept in field practicum too. And there may be times where the field instructor is busy. They provide you this supervision, you know, every other week, you know, really equivalent of an hour every 30 hours, okay? And so when you have time with it, you want to make the most of that hour, right? So that other time, what are you going to be doing? You know, Jennifer made a suggestion earlier that you need to kind of have a list of things you can engage in if you're not seeing clients. Somebody came up to me at break and said, I'm only going to maybe be working with a couple of clients. What in the world am I going to be doing with all that other time? And the thought is, well, there's a range of things you could be doing. You could be looking for proactive ways to engage in that organization. When I was at Protection and Advocacy, I helped develop the first website. I created the first family brochure of publications. I came up with ideas and suggestions for things that I could do that maybe Gloria didn't ask me to do as my field instructor, but I thought, you know what, I have some time, how about I work on this? Or what do you think about me looking into this or participating in this. So I was very proactive and an agent of my own learning, not only there, but also at DBT. I had a whole laundry list my first year. I really had to read books, ask questions, and I got more refinement on observing and sitting in sessions and learning the clinical side. But I also helped them write a grant, did some research around that. So there's you're going to get a whole bunch of ideas after you experience your first set of classes. Because those classes are going to lay a foundation for what opportunities you might be looking for in your field practicum. I'm telling you that now because I'm trying to avoid what you may experience Monday through Friday next week, and that is if you get in there and you have downtime. I'm giving you a bunch of different stuff to do. You can read through this field manual thoroughly. You've got their policies and procedures. And then also, too, you can read through Brett's suggestions in more detail. And then one of the exercises on the back we're going to talk about that we didn't get to today, I'm going to have you do it in block week as well if you have the time. So you can keep reading through this, but one more I wanted to point out was this whole thing that Britt had about building a support team. And he did a really good job of doing that. He worked in a placement that had 2 other students there, and they really became a team in terms of how they operated and worked together and helped each other through that field placement process. How many of you know that you're going to be working with other students at your practicum? Raise your hand. I think it's important to get to know them. You can consider yourselves your own team in learning. I know that when I was a field instructor, I worked with a couple of students, and Gloria was a field instructor, and that year those students came up with a formal supervisory series that they wanted to go through in our supervision sessions. So one week we talked about policies related to whistleblowing and employment discretion. They wanted to know the ins and outs. This was a macro placement of communities and organizations. But they came up with a whole trajectory of technical things they wanted to cover, as well as the intangible things. How do you work with difficult employees? Because they were in the administrative track. So there are a lot of creative ways that you can synergize with one another if you build a team at your practicum with other students. So creativity can really happen. His closer was all above, be yourself, have fun, and make it enjoyable. This is true. Today is the first day. Tomorrow we have a more hands-on day. But the one thing I always worry about being the director of field education is listening to what's happened today and wondering, have we made you more afraid of your first week? Or hopefully we've reassured you in some ways is what my hope is. I would never want to give the impression that we are not approachable or here for you or available to ask questions. We do want you to follow protocol, and that we want you to always to build that rapport with your field instructor first. That's important to have that trust with them. And then, if you're having problems, the next step is your field liaison. But if something is going on that is really causing you a lot of anxiety and distress, I would not want you to feel like you could not reach out to us and talk to us about that. I can't reiterate that enough. The learning style exercise is actually something I'm going to let you do block week. We're not going to do it today. I know that we're tired. We've had a long day together. I thought a better use of our time, based on how we have gone through today, would be to say, for those of you who want to leave, you may leave, and those who want to stay, we are here to answer questions. I think a lot of you have questions that you want answered, and so I thought it would be a better use of time to do that. If you want to stay and hear other people's questions, you can do that. Or if you would like to go. Now, let me see, I'm going to have to start filing out right immediately. Now, come on. So let me just kind of tell you the way I want to go about this. That was funny. First, you can go ahead and leave, but what I'm going to do is do this in phases. I want to ask general questions first that everyone may benefit from, and then I'll excuse those folks. And then if you have individual questions, we'll be around to answer those. All right, so if you would like to leave and you don't want to participate in general questions as well as individual questions, yes.
Please, if you guys are going to leave now, please remember to bring your handbooks with you tomorrow, because they will be a critical component to doing our activities tomorrow, and this is your one and only copy. Thanks. Drive safe.
Yes. Okay, so if you want to leave, you don't have general questions, you may do so now. Okay, you're free to go. That's a good question.
No.
And those who would like to stay and ask more questions, please stay.
Where are you staying at? Home. My students. Oh, home. That's right. You live right here.
The question is this isn't your only chance to ask us questions. If you leave here, then you have questions, you can always send us an email or a phone call.
Yeah, chill out for a little bit before you go.
Is she at a wedding?
We was just talking about there's no Apple Store. I need to go find well, it's probably Charlotte's probably there's I'm gonna go to Walmart.
For those who may have questions, tomorrow is a hands-on day, so we will be doing exercises around the learning contract and your evaluation, so you'll actually spend time working on how to do a learning contract. So don't worry about that. We're going to get to the meat of those kind of requirements tomorrow.
Okay, baby, I'll see you tomorrow.
So I just. Well,
I can't remember her name. Okay. I know our faces.
I mean, we I just understand.
When did you start? I guess I think more relaxed because I've already had an interview. I've already done an interview with them. So I've had several. Yeah. I just need to call her.
They don't.
I'll call them set up next week.
What to know? The biggest thing groups, whatever. Biggest
it's the director, then I should know Rachel, who is kind of like the admin and whatever else she does. And then he actually go out to the houses, like the assessments. He never worked full time. He only works part time. He only works when he has to go out. So but the one thing I know that they do a lot of travel. And the thing is like they have like say you just want to volunteer. Okay, just show up. Like they don't have like they need to so we're creating like a little training for the volunteers like if they can this and happening, talk about just like that. Right. And that's the thing process. Can't handle him that way. He doesn't respond that well. And so they go to the one the office. He died and fix it. I mean, but they don't understand. All that yelling shouldn't even be in the person.
Look, are y'all sitting in here because you have general questions? Okay. Who else has a question? Today you would get a total of 6 hours because you started at 9. We did 3 and 3. You got an hour finish because I let y'all go 4, so 6 hours you today. Yes. Yes.
Really work on that. So when do you have class?
We have the best exactly. I mean,
Depends on how you manage your time. Are you being best I mean, I can't even answer that. We had fun when I went to MSW. And we were responsible for fundraising for our graduation. And it was literally, I was just, I never stopped. I felt like I never stopped. But you got to learn if one of your problems is you go to the same area, then you can learn. Yeah, that was my, I would say this. He yelled, he told me, but it's so sweet, right?
so delighted with your outfit.
Barbara, the one who was in here the first 2 days.
Does anybody else have any questions? Process, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. She's asking about process recordings. And process recordings are something that we require foundation students to do once in the fall and once in the spring. And you'll get some more instruction about that tomorrow. Yeah, you're gonna do a process recording. In other words, you'll have an interaction with a client. Could be an interaction you have with a colleague, and you'll record the dialogue. In other words, this is what happened, this is what I was thinking and feeling, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I did, or said what I did, and really get analytical about it. That's what it is. It can be anything. And for people who may not be working with just clients, I would do not an uncomfortable situation. So it's a good tool. It helps develop your the use of self and your self-reflection. It's a really good thing to do. All right, somebody left their packet. Who left their packet?
Yeah, it's great.
No, it's not, young guy. I don't know his name. I have a feeling he's just leaving it here. And he'll leave it tomorrow morning, as long as the custodians don't pick it.
I mean, that would be real nice. I mean, just saying, you know, like you never know. I mean, you really don't. Because in Columbia, there's so many different areas you can
Does
stay.
anybody else have any questions? No?
No, man, we good. Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, Miss Red Apple.
Ooh, very good. Good. Let me try to get this put back together.
Yeah, Melissa, would you be able to bring up that email real quick that you read all the students? Sure. But I'm 90% that was the class.
Whose laptop is this, Janice?
Take all the money.
You didn't bring one over, did you?
No.
Now, do you have an iPhone? Some of them? Yeah. Everybody's yeah, this is one of our partners, Carl. An email said her professor and had this private response. I'm wondering where it gets from.
Well, they might be on the Thursday and the 7:30 Facebook does meet on August 22nd at 6 p.m., but not on August 30th. So you can leave tomorrow at 3. What was it? Just a general knowledge for it's all kind of expensive. New, maybe like 7. So if you're Is there any way you can't see your reservation and get your money back?
I can try.
I'm gonna try to pull, because well, I'm gonna try to get y'all out of here so that we got, or where it doesn't work for everybody. This is a last minute snafu, and they forgot that.
Tractor's Supply was doing a decent selection of food too, and it's a little less expensive than like PetSmart or Target or any of that places.
And you might get a military discount at a lot of those other places. He's not, because it's for tax.
If you went to the customer card, that's where we got the labor. So it's a kind of convertible, that's where we can see the flow working out. And you're Philly.
And interestingly enough, right down the street.
Yeah, Terry Brown can be your liaison.
I don't know.
And the reason she's Terry Brown was on dialysis, that's for Eric.
Well, once they put medical in.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And I know that, I know that we're in the Rockville, or Rockville, what do they call it? Dogs.
Yeah.
600 pictures, and I was there for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was just sort of. That's right, yes, the other way.
You're saying here?
Yeah, I think we're all part of my
That's where you would specialize every second year. You second year specialize in that's part of the year, so. But they.
No, same line, I don't even know. I know that, but God, it's like those.
So the bishop gets his retirement money and speaks and you would just want to yeah, but that's right next to the house. I'm gonna finish this one area. So we've got hospital organizations, so you'll get to all that stuff. Right, and make money. I know exactly what you're talking about, but you're right, the hospital You almost have a baby in it? I have a friend and he well, so the boys, are you from up north? You're paid for online experience, but it's it takes Yes, absolutely. right? You need to focus on here. That's my recommendation. I normally don't tell people what to do. It's good to have long-term plans, but that is too much. Because what if you start to get through and you already have this dream, and you start to figure out, I love this and I don't ever want to do this. PhD, you do research. Or you can do what I do, so just teaching here. And clinical education is going to need time to get some experience in developing that. So just try to enjoy at least this first year, since you're a 2-year program, right? You're at 32 up, okay, so you'll have another year after this. Just try to enjoy this year a little bit before you start to get it. You'll have plenty of time to start thinking about this in May. And you'll be great. I've had enough of this. Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah. Well, it was, you can give yourself life.
That's what brings me to the substance abuse. I know that. I just had 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We grew up in the same place.
Hey, guess what? We know each other. Where are you guys from? Yeah.
No, we're Washington.
Oh.
Yeah, the Montgomery County.
So you already got some nice space off there.
I have eating residence.
Yeah, so you're already have female people in here.
Well, no, I'm sorry. But here's the other side.
Oh my God.
And I can put them in front of the worst thing.
Yeah, you have it. You go, come on.
My father's family.
These guys are shocking. Take care of the lost group of guys.
That's right, that's what we're gonna do.
Kind of like she's dead. My teacher called Gary, one of the blacks back, and I'll do the other.
Am I back to the room or to the car?
Yeah.
Who's got a car?
No, but then let me get all my stuff.
I don't have a car. I'm leaving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to cancel your,
Oh,
how do I turn all this off?
That.
They do.
No, you gotta make sure you take ours. Let's get out of the way. Come on. Seriously.
I don't know if anybody can unconfuse you.
I mean, it was a lot of information, but like I said,
Is that like a tennis?
in the long run, I think, see more proficient.
Oh, you gotta do this.
It's like it's-
Yeah. I'm gonna
Look at that. Go for it.
That was that.
I didn't know you just knows tonight.
No. I noticed it. I'm like,
I think I brought your umbrella over,
but I had to use it when I came.
You what?
Said, there's your umbrella, because I had to use it when I came over.
Oh, Florida. Who's
who's this?
umbrella?
You recognize that name?
Yeah, I can put it in here though.
Yeah. Is it raining?
There was pouring.
Who's carrying
When I
packages?
came over.
I'm gonna help carry.
Is that your umbrella?
Yeah.
Where's my keys? There they are. Yeah, I think they appreciated us. It just seemed to make better use of time to do that. Let them go. Yeah.
Do what?
No, we did a lot today. We did. It went very well. And tomorrow will be good because it'll be hands-on stuff. What about,
I'm done.
what about that? I'll put it in the board on.
I'm good.
Is that one still got stuff in it?
Manuals.
This does?
Yeah.
I think we just leave it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're not gonna steal it. Who's gonna steal the field game?
I'm not gonna carry it.
Well, they won't take it out.
What is it?
They won't let me.
They won't take it away, will they?
Just stick it under the table.
Yeah, stick it under the table, they won't.
Put it in the corner. There's an A&M table, and it's not by the trash like these. Oh, you know what? You should see if she wants the boxes. What? Really? Look at empty boxes now.
Take it tomorrow. You want these on your body, you want them?
Yeah. Well, do you want us to set it aside so you can be out?
I'm gonna go to the
All I can say, guys, is we were all highly entertaining today. People